Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Vortex, and today I'm going to address the issue, and I'm sitting outside again, so never mind, there's a bunch of flipping motorbikes driving around and cars driving around next to the side, because I'm sitting at the back of my house on this area that there is. I'm addressing this issue that's been going on in the social media for quite a while. Colin Moriarty from Kind of Funny Games and IGN, senior editor before, leaving the Kind of Funny to basically start his own thing because shit happens, right? But shit happens only to the people who are famous on Twitter. So he made this joke some time ago, about a week and a half ago, with this tweet saying, finally peace and quiet, hashtag a day without a woman, on the International Women's Day. I would have been crucified if I didn't say happy Women's Day to my mother on the 8th of March, which I forgot because I was so busy with work and things like that, but she didn't get really angry at me. I didn't say anything like that. But it doesn't matter. That was a joke. That was a joke in the sitcoms before. It was a joke from a TV show before, and as he said before, that was just... He was in his bed with his girlfriend, and he showed her that tweet before he sent it and said that was okay, yeah. And he's got mother and other members of the families who are females as well. They pretty much support him on that, and majority of the people actually support him on Twitter. So what the fuck happened in the first place is like, are we, like, I don't know about the US, I'm not living in the US, right? But if you are living in the US, then I have a question for you. Is the society so much fucked up that they can't handle a joke? Just a joke. Why not? International Business Times posted an article straight after that saying Colin Moriarty resigned from Kind of Funny Games because he made a racist joke about women. And that was corrected after that, because obviously women are not a race, right? So you fucking clickbaited that shit just to make sure that it actually works for you, right? Are women actually a race? No, they aren't. If you would have targeted a specific group of women by nationality and things like that, that would have been considered racist, right? But it isn't. Are we living in a society where people actually afraid to say what they want to say? It's okay to say it face to face, but it's not okay to say it on the internet, right? There's a lot of people, including me, that has been going on through this kind of a situations around the world, and that's considered to be bad, isn't it? No, it isn't, because nobody fucking knows about it. But if it's on the internet, and if it's by someone who has quite a big exposure, then that becomes a problem, isn't it? I mean, I'm a Russian guy, right? Like, I mean, I've lived in the UK for 10, 12 years, and I've been fucking assaulted by racist jokes throughout my whole life. Am I making a big show out of it? Am I fucking post it on YouTube, Twitter or something? No, I just get on with my life. I fight what I can fight. What I don't fight, I leave it at that. And jokes are jokes. Yeah? Jokes are jokes. If you think that I was a bit too much that he said on the Twitter, like, a day without a woman, fuck, that's pretty harsh, that I was bad. Like, how do you consider when you're walking through the streets of Manchester and somebody fucking throws a bottle, a glass bottle at you, just because you're wearing a t-shirt that says something that they might not like? That's a more of a racist fucking joke for you, that has a more serious consequence, but nobody gives a shit because it doesn't have the same exposure. Are we seriously living in a society where people can't say or do or joke about what they want? Are we become so fucking sensitive about things that we want to tell, but we can't tell because of that, because of this and that and that? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, in the day of mainstream media, there's another fucking motorbike coming. In the day of the mainstream media that we're going through right now, for some reason it's not okay to say something like that, right? But mainstream media feeding us all this bullshit right now, which most of it probably isn't true. I've studied journalism, that's my major. I can see bullshit from a mile away, and that's what you're watching and reading in all the newspapers and most of the media. I'm saying most, I'm saying about 95% of it. It's all controlled by people that doesn't matter. Let's go back to it. I've been following Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller since they were doing the podcast Beyond on the IGN. I was a big fan of the podcast Beyond, and I still listen to the guys like Max Scoville and the rest of the crew that joins them, you know, like Marty Sliva and Brian Altano and things like that. But getting off that tangent slightly, like we're going into the things like they went off and did their Kind of Funny company, which is a company, right, as you might expect it. What happened actually, for fuck's sake, what happened actually, this is without any editing. If you can see, I'm just portraying my thoughts right out of the bat. Why did he quit Kind of Funny? Obviously, yes. You could see that Colin wasn't feeling right at home, because, I mean, he's been always saying that his passion lies in politics and philosophy and history and shit like that. And you could see him on the shows go silent for, like, whereas the other people engaging him in an argument and things like that, he would stay silent and somebody ask him something. So you could tell that part that he wasn't really interested in that. That's not his real passion and things like that. But at the same time, there are other things to talk about. Now, I watched the Rubens report before and after what happened. Now, the problem here lies in this. Colin didn't quit just because he wanted to quit. What I think they actually make him quit. And this is the stuff that I don't really understand, because if you're the best friends with Greg Miller and things like that, and Greg is a nice guy and stuff like that. He talks a lot. He does his own thing. He's an internet personality. But, like, for example, P.S. I Love You XOXO, without Colin, that just wouldn't work. You could put anyone else in there. It wouldn't work, because he wouldn't complete the whole picture. He's got this own style of telling things. He's short but concise. He says things that matter when they matter. He doesn't say shit just for the sake of saying it. And this is exactly what I've seen from another side. And Kind of Funny was established through Patreon, and they got this sponsorship deals and exclusive interviews and like the reveal of Final Fantasy 15 and all that sort of shit. So obviously, like, when you come to this kind of thing, they had arguments in the back. I'm pretty sure they did. Colin said they did, and Greg said they did, and things like that. But it comes to the point right now when Colin was there, said something bad, right? And a bunch of people on the Twitter obviously took that shit sideways, and they started saying things like, we don't want this, we don't want that, and shit like that. And as a company, I understand that they have to react, because their majority of their money, I'm pretty sure, comes from Patreon. Right? They have several tiers for each Patreon, from Kind of Funny Games, and it comes to the point where it started to interfere with the business. Like, they don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk it because it doesn't fucking matter if it was a friendship for 10, 15 years. I wouldn't abandon my friends just because I'm afraid the Patreon is gonna collapse. Yeah? And that's coming from a person who fucking tells you right now that, oh, we made bad jokes on the other episode. Yeah, you made jokes about the fucking abortion. You make jokes about other things that were much more sensitive than what Colin said. Much more sensitive than Colin said. And also it came... I remember those few episodes, the very first episodes of Kind of Funny, when which Disney princess you would have fucked. I'm pretty sure if the parents would stumble to this TV show by accident, they wouldn't be fucking happy about it. And that was okay, that was fine, until he made that joke. So I think he quit because of the pressure. I think maybe he didn't really want to do it. I know that he wanted to do something with his life, and he went on Rubens Report and things like that. Things that opened up for him, but I think that Greg, Tim, and the rest of the crew, they just didn't support him on that. I think they actually done the opposite way. I think they actually blamed him for that, and they didn't want to have anything negative associated with their business, which is fine by my all accounts. But if he really is your fucking best friend and you've been living in an apartment for so long, you wouldn't fucking abandon him just like that. I wouldn't. I have friends. I have the best friend that I know for 25 years, and regardless of what shit he said, I wouldn't have abandoned him, even if the business was on the line. But the business wasn't on the line. I'm pretty sure even if they kept him, they would have retained the Patreon. Most of it. Probably they would have gotten even more followers. But this is the thing, that we're living in this fucking society that just cannot joke or talk about anything. If you're not personally been offended by any fucking racist jokes and things, you would know. I have on a consecutive basis throughout my life. And do I make a fucking drama out of it? Yes, I don't have a business company on the line, but you're making it too political, too drastic, too problematic for people, you know. Like, there are people who don't really give a shit, there are people who give a shit, which are the minority. Cheers for that. Who are the minority, but we're living in it. Where's the fucking free speech? Why can't I say what I want to say? Oh yeah, because I'm not fucking famous and things like that. No, that's not how it's supposed to go. You care about your mates before everyone else. You care about your friends. You support them. If they are your friends and that is their opinion, you support them. Doesn't make it the opinion of the company, but it makes it the opinion of that person. And you didn't have to write, Greg Miller, the whole essay of things of why I think you said that. Like, you never fucking came out and responded to your abortion jokes or fucking the princesses of Disney, isn't it? But you came out and responded to this. Oh, we don't have this, blah 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 blah, like fucking bullshit. That's just nonsense. That's nonsense. That doesn't work. That's nonsense. That means that Colin pretty much was forced out of his company. Maybe he wouldn't have wanted to stay. He just needed a reason to go off. But I'm pretty sure it was not intentional and things like that. But without him, the show is not going to be the same. I hope that I can already see that he becomes successful on Patreon, because he's already overshot what Kind of Funny had with at least one of their Patreon. But what I'm actually saying is that I hope the Kind of Funny doesn't lose the followers. But without Colin, it's just going to be the same, because the guy is straight to the point. He doesn't fucking tippy talk around and like for half an hour and then says what he want to say. He just goes in and says what it is. And for Colin, especially for Colin, what I'm supporting him on the Patreon. I'm not going to tell you what tier I'm actually going to. It's not the lowest one, but it's not the highest one. Just because I want to give him a get start, but after that I'll probably drop out, just because of the theme that he decided to pursue. Because what he might not realize is that some of his people came to support him from Rubin's Report. Some of his people probably came from Twitter and things like that. But majority of the people, I'm pretty sure the majority came from the gaming community, and he's giving it all up. He spent this life building up the career, the relationship with people and things like that, and he just abandoning it. And this is what gets me the most, is like, I understand you have your passion, but you are limiting your audience so much. Let's say politics. Yeah, you're going to be discussing most likely American politics, right? Which are fucking hypocritical, when they can fucking go and do whatever they want to do around the world. I'm not going to go into the politics, right? It's hypocritical. It isn't. American policy is hypocritical. American policy only applies to mostly to, well, it actually applies to everyone in the fucking world who decides to go against America. But it doesn't matter. And other things. But you had this gaming community supporting you. You, like, I don't say you need to launch a separate Patreon for that or anything, but what I'm actually asking you is, like, you could, like, apart from those, you said you don't want to, like, just have a camera switched on you and do some shit. Well, why don't you do that for the gaming? Like, you would do your own videos at your normal leisure time, and then whatever your working time is, and then after that you go in, you just switch on the camera. Nobody gives a shit about editing. Like me, I'm sitting here right now doing it on my phone, and you just talk about games. Just a little bit. Just once a month maybe. Because that would have got people a bit more excited about that Patreon, because you're doing politics, history, and everything else. Whereas the gaming touch global community. With all those things, you're touching just the American community. And from the American, let's say, exceptionalism of things, right? Because as Obama used to say, the Americans are exceptional. Everything they do is exceptional. The debt is exceptional. The war on terror is exceptional, and things like that. I don't go into those details, right now. But what I want to say is that I think that Greg and the rest of the guys should have supported him on that. They shouldn't have abandoned him on that. But they did. And that shows you the true value of corporate business, friendship maybe. Not in my book, obviously, but that was enough. And when Colin cried that some of the, like he said to the Ruben, was like, "You are my newest friend, and I feel like you've been my oldest one, and the ones that were oldest and abandoned me when I was sinking, when I was crying at that time." And that's already told me everything I need to know about Kinda Funny and the rest of the guys there. So yeah, I want to know, guys, your opinions and everything else about this topic in the comments below. Please subscribe to this channel. There's a button right there. There's another button right there. Fuck you. Thank you for another motorbike. There's another button over there. I apologize for so much swearing. There's a comment below. I want to know your opinion if Colin was actually right, which was one of his shows. Colin was right. Was Colin was wrong? Do you think the rest of the Kinda Funny community, which have supported him, been right? Do you think the rest of the Kinda Funny security community, like Greg, Nick, and the rest of the guys, actually did the right thing? Because I think they didn't. They didn't. So I want to know your opinions. Please let me know in the comments below. I really want to read that, because it's a very sensitive issue to react. And also, don't forget that, do you think that our community as in general becomes too sensitive to jokes and things about political things, racial things, and so on and so forth? Because I say what I want to say. I don't give a shit what anyone thinks, right? That's my opinion. And I respect other people's opinion. That's how the free speech works. You have your opinion, other people have their opinion, you respect each other, and then you come in the middle and you talk about it. That's how it works. Because if somebody says something you don't like and you just fucking bash them, destroy their career or whatever that is, that's not free speech. That's not free speech. Free speech is when you both come together and you work out your differences. That's how the speech works. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Game Vortex.